Every morning, she arrived before everyone else to make sure the floors were clean and not lose her job. She endured humiliation for the sake of her sick mother. And she didn't know that the man she passed by every single day was actually her father. Emily ran along the sidewalk, struggling to catch her breath. The cold air burned her lungs. Her bag struck painfully against her hip, and one thought kept running through her head. She was late. Catastrophically late. No one in the office liked it when the conference room wasn't ready on time, especially her immediate supervisor. Employees stepped over the still wet floor, grimacing, casting irritated glances. The manager watched with open disdain as Emily dragged heavy buckets toward the office door, stumbling, apologizing, rushing. It was the same day the professor kept the group after class again. He slowly reviewed the midterm exam results, seemingly unaware of the exhausted faces around him. The moment she was allowed to leave, Emily almost ran. She knew, if the office staff arrived before her, trouble was inevitable. Studying part-time usually gave her some freedom. Emily knew she couldn't lose this job. It wasn't prestigious. She was a cleaner in a business center, but the pay was stable and always on time. Most of her salary went to medicine and treatment for her mother. Without this job, they simply would not survive. Until recently, it was her mother who supported the family. Now the roles had changed. Helen raised Emily alone. She grew up in foster care. Her parents died when she was still a child. After graduation, Helen never received an education. She took any job that paid anything at all. Then came a brief romance, a pregnancy, and the man disappeared before her daughter was even born. Helen worked herself to exhaustion. Night shifts, side jobs, weekends without rest. Years later, she worked as a saleswoman at a street market. Cold, dampness, endless physical strain. Her body gave in, a chronic joint disease. She could no longer work. When Emily entered university and received a scholarship, it felt like a miracle. They both cried, from relief, from hope. But after the first year, everything collapsed. A serious diagnosis, expensive treatment. Emily didn't hesitate. She transferred to distance learning and started searching for a job. She searched for a long time. Everywhere she applied, they wanted experience, which she didn't have. Even the kitchen refused her. They said she was too fragile. The job as a cleaner came almost by accident. At the interview, the position was already filled. A middle-aged woman stood there. Emily was about to leave when the woman accidentally spilled water on important documents. She was fired on the spot, harshly, without explanation. Emily was asked to stay. She didn't want that job, but she had no choice. At first, her colleagues laughed openly. Heavy buckets, endless trips to change water. Then the men began to help her, first out of pity, then out of respect. Some flirted, and that became a problem. The women whispered, looked askance, made cruel remarks. Emily quickly understood. The office was full of intrigue. Richard, the deputy director, stood out most. Polite, smiling, always charming. But behind that smile, cold calculation. One day, Richard called Emily into his office. He closed the door, invited her to sit, poured her coffee. He spoke softly, almost fatherly. He knew she cleaned the director's office, Michael's office. He asked for a small favor, Just bring him documents to review. A favor for a favor. A career. A new position. A much higher salary. Emily felt sick. I won't do it. From that day on, the harassment began. Extra cleanings, imaginary dust, spilled coffee, missing supplies, public hints about her carelessness. Then, an expensive keepsake disappeared. Emily was blamed, even though the cameras showed otherwise. Money was deducted from her salary. She endured it. For her mother's sake. Late one evening, Emily was cleaning Michael's office. It was empty. She washed the floor beneath a massive desk and accidentally touched a hidden panel. A quiet click. A compartment opened. A folder fell out. On top, a black and white photograph. A young woman. Mom? On the back, for my beloved Michael, love, H. Inside, letters. Love letters. From her mother. Emily put everything back. She could barely stand. The next day, Richard staged a provocation. He deliberately poured water onto office equipment and accused Emily in front of the director. She was forced to write a resignation letter. Before leaving, she asked quietly, "Why do you have a photo of my mother?" That question changed everything. That evening, Michael drove Emily home and told her the truth. He had loved Helen. His parents separated them, sent him abroad. He never knew about the pregnancy. He thought Helen had died. The meeting was painful. There were tears, long silences, and forgiveness. Michael learned Emily was his daughter. He paid for Helen's treatment, asked her to marry him. Richard was fired in disgrace. Emily was appointed manager. She found a career. But most importantly, she found a father and a family.